Goed, aansoek om verlof tot afwesigheid. Ek het verskonings gekry van 3 raadslede. Soos u seker bewus is raadslid Danny nog redelik ernstig siek, Danny Europa. Hy het verskoning aangebied. Raadslid Buyker moet sy seun na die hospitaal toe neem vir behandeling. Hy het al 'n hele paar keer gegaan en as die hospitaal elke keer te vol, toe hy nou vanmôre het hy afspraak gekry, so hy is daar. En dan soos jy ook weet is dat ons burgemeester is ook afsiek. Hy was gister positief getoets vir COVID-19 en ons gebede gaan ook aan al 3 van daardie mense. Goed,
Thank you, Speaker. From the official side, the administration side, I've only got an apology for the CFO, Mr. Hannes van Biljon. Mr. Hannes' wife has also been in hospital for some time, but she fortunately has been released this morning. So he just had to go and get her from the hospital. And then he said he will, as soon as he can, he will also log into the meeting. But in the meantime, Mr. Sean Stanley will stand in for the CFO in this meeting. Thanks, Speaker. That's all the other relevant officials are already logged into the meeting. Thanks, Speaker.
Baie dankie, Goed onderhoud met afgevaardigdes en ander besoekers. Ons het nie onderhoude gehad die afgelope tyd nie en ook nie besoekers gehad nie. Dan die notulen van die vorige vergadering voorgelê vir bekragtiging. U het almal die notulen ontvang van die Junie maand raadsvergadering. Kan ek 'n voorstel kry vir die korrektheid van die notulen?
Yes, Speaker.
Dankie, Deputy. 'n Sekondant.
Reg so, Speaker.
Dankie, Raadslid Oktober. Goed, enige iets uit die notulen uit? Die vorige notulen wat u onder ons aandag wil bring? Niks nie, dankie. Dan notulen van die uitvoerende burgemeesterskomitee vergadering besluite deur hom geneem. Dit is basies vir kennisname vir die IBK se notulen. Notulen van die wijkskomitee vergaderings vir bespreking. U het die notules of die wijkskomitees wat vergadering gehou het, is daar enige van die wijksraadslede wat enigiets onder ons aandag wil bring wat uit hulle wijkskomitee uitgekom het? Goed, niks nie. Verklaring en mededeling deur die voorsitter. Ek het geen briewe van dank ontvang nie. Ek dink ook nie ons het enige donasie toekennings gedoen in die afgelope maand nie. Die funksies van die maand, daar was die Housing Dialogue livestream wat op die radio gedoen was en dit was nogal redelik baie goed ontvang en goeie terugvoer ontvang. Dan was daar ook 'n funksie gewees wat gedoen was rondom die jeug. Dit was 'n webinar wat gehou is, dit gegaan het oor die Democracy in Crisis. En dis tot op dusver toe is iets soos 1700 mense wat dit gesien het. En dan het Renier, was die kommentare kan op Facebook gesien word. Renier was die moderator gewees van die program. En daar was verskeie versoeke gewees om weer nog sulke programme te hou, spesifiek wat gemik is op die jeug en oor onderwerpe wat relevant is tot die jeug. Dit is die die funksies van die maand. Dan aanwys van afgevaardiges. Ekskuus, daar's in die raadsaal 'n hand.
Ja, Speaker, jammer dat ek nie terugkom. Ek wil net noem, want ek het persoonlik vir die burgemeester oorhandig, daar was 'n bedankingsbrief van Bouwelijke Kleuterskool om vir die raad dankie te sê vir die ondersteuning met hulle nuwe aanbouings by die kleuterskool. Die burgemeester het nie aangedien die bygewoon, maar dit was in die vorige vergadering ingesluit hier, is ook die gedagte gesluit hier, so ek noem het maar net aan die raad, om vir die raad dankie te sê. Ek dink, ja, die munisipale bestuurder was ook teenwoordig daar gewees. Baie dankie.
Dankie Raadslid Jantjies. Ek sal seker maak dat ek daai skrywe kry en dat ons dit in die volgende raadsvergadering wat ons het, dit sal inbring. Councillor Tunisi? You're muted. You're still muted, Councillor Tunisi.
Sorry. Speaker, you are now at, wat is die punt? Aanwys van
10.3.
afgevaardigers.
That's correct.
Speaker, aanwys van afgevaardigers, as we know that there has been a change in the composition of the council of the MACO, where one of our councillors has, we have a new councillor that has come in, and there's a councillor that was serving at the district. I hereby move that we nominate Councillor Karen Donald to be the Cape Agulhas Municipality representative to the Overberg District Municipality. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy. I had a discussion with the ODM about this, and we need to take a council resolution, and together with the appointment via the IEC, that has to be presented to the district municipality municipal manager. So can I get a seconder for the proposal from the deputy for the change of the two councillors?
Reg so, Speaker.
Dankie, Raadslid Oktober. Goed. Ekskuus tog. Dan die 8.4 dringende sake deur die speaker voorgelê. Ek moet die raadslede in kennis stel dat ons in Augustus maand 'n spesiale raadsvergadering gaan hê. Daar is 'n vakature rondom die audit komitee en die audit komitee moet sekere funksies verrig. Ek dink ek gaan vir Blakkie vra om net 'n bietjie meer uit te brei rondom die aangeleentheid. Blakkie? Is Blakkie daar?
Yes, Blakkie Swart is logged into the meeting. Blakkie, you can proceed.
Apologies, Chair. I was just busy with somebody else. Where are we?
Blakkie, dit gaan oor die spesiale raadsvergadering ten opsigte van die aanwys van die audit komitee lid. Die bietjie die agtergrond rondom dit.
Ja. Die raad sal onthou so dit was meer as 'n jaar terug. Toe een van die raadslede het bedank weens 'n konflik van belange. En net daarna toe, het was in Maart gewees, en net daarna toe die lockdown gekom, wat natuurlik 'n effek gehad het op die inkomste van die munisipaliteit. En die auditkomitee het nog steeds 3 lede gehad wat quorum is. En daar is toe besluit om vir ten minste 'n jaar om te kyk hoe die dinge verloop, nie die pos te vul nie. En so 'n paar maande gelede toe die komitee besluit, dinge loop reg, hulle wil graag weer die pos vul, so in die raad voorgelê en dit is toe weer ontvries. So ons het nou geadverteer, maar wat intussen gebeur het, is dat nog 'n komitee lid het bedank. Hy het 'n pos aanvaar by 'n munisipaliteit en die munisipale bestuurder wil nie hê hy moet dien op ander munisipaliteite se auditkomitees nie. So ons het nou skielik toe nou 2 vakante poste, wat beteken dat die raad of die komitee het nie 'n quorum nie. Nou ons het nou geadverteer om albei te vul. Die sluitingsdatum is die 30ste. Maar die probleem waarmee ons sit is dat die 25ste Augustus is daar 'n spesiale auditkomitee vergadering om die konsepstate te bespreek voordat dit aan die ouditeur-generaal voorgelê word. So ons moet hierdie 2 poste redelik dringend vul sodat ons 'n quorum kan hê. Anders kan daardie vergadering nie plaasvind nie en dan is ons nou weer buite wetgewing. So die hele proses is uitgelê. Ons gaan baie vroeg in die eerste week in Augustus die kortlys saamstel, die mense nooi vir die onderhoude en ons wil vra dat ons dan die spesiale raadsvergadering gebruik om dan goedkeuring te kry om die poste te vul. Ek wil ook vra dat en ek sal met die speaker dit hanteer of ons die vergadering vroeër kan hou as normaalweg, want gewoonlik vind die raadsvergaderings eers aan die einde van die maand plaas, maar ons het alreeds 'n quorum nodig die 25ste Augustus. So as ons die spesiale raadsvergadering bietjie vroeër kan hou voor dit, sodat ons dan die mense kan aanstel en 'n quorum kan hê vir die finansiële state. Maar dis die agtergrond tot hierdie item.
Goed, baie dankie Blakkie. Ons sal die raadslede vroegtydig in kennis stel rondom die aangeleentheid wanneer die spesiale raadsvergadering plaasvind. Daar is nog 'n ander punt wat hulle ook gevra het vir die spesiale raadsvergadering en dit gaan basies oor die IDP en budget. Dit moet ook voor 'n sekere datum moet dit ook afgehandel wees. Op hierdie stadium is dit moontlik of daar is daar 'n moontlikheid dat die verkiesing dalk uitgeskuif sal word. En indien dit uitgeskuif word, sal daai twee punte nie so noodsaaklik wees nie. Maar andersins sal dit die ander 2 punte wees wat ook op die spesiale raadsvergadering gehanteer moet word. Ek sien daar's 'n hand in die raadsaal.
Ja, ek wil nie kommentaar lewer oor die verkiesing nie, maar ek wil graag net sê dit is baie swak besluit as hulle die verkiesing uitstel. Voordat ek wil graag net verneem wie is die 2 persone wat bedank het op die politiek. Ek kan net weet ook dankie. Dis was die Armega Ingie.
Raadslid Jantjies, wil jy weet wie bedank het of wie wat aansoek gedoen het?
Wie bedank het.
Wie wat bedank het. Goed, Blakkie?
Ja, die mense wat bedank het in Maart verlede jaar was Louise Stevens en die persoon wat onlangs bedank het is Denver Miller. En die sluitingsdatums kom nog, so ek kan op hierdie stadium nog nie sê wie almal aansoek gedoen het nie. Ons het aansoeke gekry, maar ek kan ongelukkig op hierdie stadium dit nog nie bekend maak nie. Dankie.
Goed, baie dankie Blakkie. Goed, terugvoer vanaf raadslede vergaderings bygewoon. Ek dink nie daar was enige SALGA vergaderings onder andere gewees nie. En daar is vandag 'n vergadering oor die Municipal Council Pension Fund wat nou bots met ons raadsvergadering, maar ek sal daai inligting kry en ek sal die inligting deurgee aan die lede wat aan die pensioenfonds behoort. Sal ek vir hulle deurgee. Dan 'n verklaring en mededeling deur die uitvoerende burgemeester. Daar's die burgemeester teenwoordig nie, maar ek moet net by die deputy hoor of daar iets is wat sy moet deurgee vir die raad. Niks nie. Goed. Oor na jou toe.
Speaker,
Yes, deputy.
I didn't hear you, the last remarks that you made.
The last one was the verklaring en of mededeling deur die uitvoerende burgemeester. Aangesien die burgemeester nie hier is nie, is daar enige verklaringe wat u namens hom moet doen?
Yes, Speaker.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Firstly, I would like to say good morning to everyone, the councillors, the officials, and most importantly, the people of Cape Agulhas that has tuned in onto this platform, the virtual platform, where we are live streaming on Facebook and also on YouTube. It is historical that we are doing things differently these days, and COVID has taught us that we should do things differently, but to the best of our abilities. Firstly, I would like to extend best wishes of getting well soon to our mayor, as we have seen and we've heard that he has tested positive for COVID. And I applaud the mayor for coming out and saying that I have tested positive for COVID, because it shouldn't be a secret if you've tested positive for COVID. That's where you can get support and message of hope to the family. We encourage each and every citizen, if you feel comfortable, to share that you have tested positive for COVID. Share with your families, don't keep it a secret, because it shouldn't be a secret. We're wishing all families that are in these difficult times all the best. And we think of them in these trying times, and we pray with them and for them to get well soon and to recover. We know that COVID is breaking families. We've heard some of our councillors that has lost more than 3 family members in 1 week because of COVID. COVID is serious. COVID is growing, even in our Cape Agulhas municipality. We're wishing everyone well, and also that we ask that to our communities, please be safe. We note that we are on alert level 3, and we've seen that many businesses have come back, but we ask our people to please be safe at all times. Make sure that you sanitize, you keep your distance, wear your mask at all times. And those that are eligible to vaccinate, please do so. Those that are eligible to register, please do so. Make sure that you have registered to be vaccinated. And we take note of some of the councillors that have also vaccinated, and we hope that everything is going well. As we are on alert level 3, we've noticed that many community members have not registered for the Masakane rebates. Ons vra dat die gemeenskap asseblief tog gebruik maak van die geleentheid om te registreer vir Masakane, laat hulle die rebates kan kry, die afslag kan kry op hulle rekeninge. Ons weet dat voor dit in April maand of Mei maand kon baie van ons gemeenskappe nie na die sale toe gegaan het nie, maar hulle kan nog steeds gaan om te registreer vir Masakane. Siyacela ke sibongoza abahlali into yokubana bhaliselani ukophulelwa kwiinkonzo zikamasipala kwenzele nixhamle ngamaxesha onke, ngoba kaloku siyayazi ubunzima bukhona, and ke bukhona njena nali ixesha lokubana uaplayele umasakane wakho. Xa ungeka-aplayi, nceda ukhawuleze uye kwii-ofisi zikamasipala apho khona uzawuaplayela umasakane wakho. Ons vra dat alle gemeenskapslede wat kwalifiseer vir Masakane om dit nou nog te doen, laat hulle die afslag op hulle rebates kan kry. As a nation, we're going through many struggles and strides, as Councillor Eve Martinez has mentioned. In Cape Agulhas, all political parties, we have signed an agreement saying that we will work together to ensure that Cape Agulhas is not looted, is not vandalized, is not safe for our children and our families. As political parties, the different political parties in the Cape Agulhas region, we have ensured that we will work together, because if we work together, we can do more. And we ask that community members to please also work unitedly to ensure that our Cape Agulhas is safe. We're asking everyone in this municipality to please work with us. We know we tried our best to serve, and we will do that to the best of our abilities. But government cannot work alone if communities are not working with us. So we ask that you please work with us to ensure that our municipality comes out to the top. I would like to wish everyone the best for this meeting, and also that the inputs that will be given here today, it will be beneficial to our communities wherever they are. So I wish you all well and say thank you for this opportunity, and I have nothing else to say. Thank you very much. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy. Okay, now we can go to the items na die raad verwys vir oorweging.
Yes, thank you very much, Speaker. I think the first item is on page 4 of the agenda, which have been circulated to members of the council. The item 11.1 is the amendment of the development agreement of Will Development Propriety Limited. Just to give a little bit of background is we want to request council to rectify and amend the previously approved development agreement with Elwell Development. Most councillors will be aware that the Elwell Development Company has purchased property from the municipality in Struisbaai, where they have put up office blocks and various other activities on that piece of land. There's also in the process of building garages on the same premises. And what happened? The council has actually already in September 2020 granted the approval for Elwell Development to purchase a portion of 379 in Struisbaai to the value of about 788,000 rand. There was subsequently also a development agreement reached with the director at the time of Elwell Development. Unfortunately, Mr. Gerald Albert has passed away before the development agreement could have been concluded. And now what happens subsequently to that is that the successors in title to Mr. Albert or the successor in title of the company has again approached the municipality and said they wanted to amend the agreement that has been reached between the two parties, which unfortunately could not have been signed. So that means it doesn't have any binding on any of the parties. And they actually requested the municipality to offset the rebates that would have been applicable within that agreement, to offset against other property that is being purchased by our development in order for them to get a clearance certificate. So that is the gist of this whole matter, that we had a number of deliberations with all the relevant stakeholders to get an agreement, and we also had to wait, unfortunately, for the CFO, who was one of the key stakeholders within this whole agreement. The CFO could only provide his input about a couple of days ago when he returned to office. And that is why this agreement could not have been finalized. But we're bringing it now to council in order to achieve the management recommendation that is on page 8 of the agenda. But before I go to the management recommendation, I know there's some technical aspects that I would really like the Director for Infrastructure, as well as Ms. Tracy Stone, just to also allude to these technical arrangements within the contract, so that councillors can just clearly understand what the implication will be of this management recommendation. So Abdul Aziz, maybe I can just give you a bite first, please.
Speaker, before Mr. Abdul.
Yes, Deputy.
Speaker, thank you very much to the MM for the brief clarification with regards to this point. Speaker, I will humble myself and ask that this agenda point, before Abdul gives that Abdul does not give the explanations here, that we revoke or we take this item out of this council and we leave it for the next special council meeting, where we get all the information that that the MM has spoken about, so that all the councillors can be at the same level of understanding this item and all of that, and all of the deliberations, so that we can, when whatever decision we're going to take today, or the decision that we're going to take in the special council meeting, that is a decision that will be one that we will be able to defend, and one that we will able to understand why we have taken a decision to that magnitude. Can I ask that we withdraw this item till the next special council meeting, please?
Thank you, Deputy. Elder Lady Martinez, your hand is op. Rosama Martinez.
Speaker, ja, baie dankie vir die geleentheid. Ek stem saam met die deputy dat die item maar uitgehaal kan word, maar speaker, ek moet eers kommentaar lewer op hierdie aangeleentheid en ook alle ander aangeleenthede van die raad waar ons te doen het met grondverkope en grondhuring. Speaker, as u kan onthou, destyds toe Robinson was nog die stadsbeplanner gewees en naar was dit Bertus Haywood. Nou wanneer ons sulke items voor die raad gekry het, speaker, dan was daar 'n hele lys van goed wat moet nagekom word. 'n stuk of 20 items was daar gewees wat moet nagekom word. Deesdae, of nie deesdae nie, maar vir 'n geruime tyd nou al, kry ons net 'n voorwaarde dat alle stadsbeplanningsprosesse nagekom moet word. Nou amper sê Comrades, speaker, ek het 'n probleem met dit. Want dit sit vir ons in 'n groot dilemma elke keer wanneer mense kom met veranderinge in die kontrakte en so voort. Ons het byvoorbeeld gesê met hierdie item in September 2020 dat ons in beginsel goedkeuring gee. Maar daar stadsbeplanningsprosesse wat moes gevolg word het. Een van die belangrikste stadsbeplanningsprosesse, speaker, is public participation. Nou, ek weet die mense van Struisbaai en Noord is verskriklik omgekrap as daar geontwikkel word spesifiek in daardie area. Want, en ek weet daar's beweging rondom klagtes wat ingedien gaan word by die public protector, want daar is graftes in daai area. Ons gee net toestemming en ons laat toe dat die mense ontwikkel. Ons kyk net die raad, wat was die publieke deelname, die kommentare, die insette van die gemeenskappe af nie. Ons gaan net en ons gaan teken kontrakte. En nou kom ons en ons sê, maar seker gedeeltes van die kontrak moet nog gechange word. Wat was die uitkoms van die public participation processes? Ek kan nie myself vereenselwig met 'n kontrak wat nou net geconclude word, maar ons weet nie van die vorige stappe. Wat was die uitkomste daar gewees nie? So daar moet dringend ondersoek ingestel word na die hele area waar hierdie ontwikkeling tans moet plaasvind, speaker. Baie dankie vir die geleentheid.
Dankie, raadsdame. Goed, ek het 'n voorstel en 'n sekondant dat hierdie item afgehaal word van die agenda vandag en dat ons 'n 10-1 moontlik by die spesiale raadsvergadering kan doen. Maar ek sal graag wil hê dat die insette van Tracy Stone en van Aziz Jacobs, dat daai insette wat hulle wil lewer, dat dit saam vorm 'n deel van daai dokument as ons die vergadering gaan hou of die ding gaan hou. En dat ons dit voor die tyd kry, ook wat raadsdame Martinez genoem het rondom die publieke deelnameproses. Ek ondervind dit self in my wijk ook, dat daar goeders gebeur het wat die publieke deelnameproses miskien gevolg is, maar die mense het nie die dokumentasie gekry nie. Daar's allerlei verskonings rondom dit. So ek het 'n voorstel en 'n sekondant dat hierdie item van die raadsagenda vandag verwyder word. So almal eensstemmend daarmee?
Yes, Speaker.
So Speaker.
Goed, baie dankie. Dankie MM. Dan kan ons aangaan na die volgende punt toe.
Okay, thank you very much, Speaker. The next point on the agenda is it's 11.2, and that is you would also remember that Council has actually already approved the sale of sorry, not the sale, the leasing of a portion of land to the Bredasdorp concerned mothers. It's part of the communities, erf 1148. Was al reeds by 'n vorige raadsvergadering. Ongelukkig was die termyn, daar was nie 'n termyn gekoppel aan die huurvoorwaardes nie. En ons bring basies dit weer terug na die raad toe, net dat ons die huurtermyn ook kan finaliseer. Daar was intussen interaksie met die aansoekers gewees en daar was ooreengekom dat hulle tevrede sal wees met 'n 3 jaar huurooreenkoms, wat ook dan nou natuurlik met die opsie om dit te verleng vir 'n volgende 3 jaar. So dit is basies alrede hoekom hierdie item terug is by die raad, is basies net om die huurtermyn goedkeuring te kry vir die huurtermyn van 3 jaar vir 'n verhuuring van 'n gedeelte van erf 1148 Bredasdorp aan concerned mothers. Thanks,
Goed,
Speaker.
dankie MM, raadslid op Marjorie Oktober, ek sien jou hand is op.
Speaker, ja, ek het iemand anders aan voor my gesien, maar in elk geval, Speaker, ja, baie dankie. Ek sal voorstel dat die termyn liewer vir die concern mothers kan van 'n tydperk van 9 jaar en 11 maande soos ons normaalweg doen met verhuring. So as dit kan gebeur in daardie tydperk van 9 jaar en 11 maande om dit aan hulle toe te staan. Dankie, Speaker.
Dankie raadslid, raadslid Martinez, jou hand is op.
Speaker, dankie. Weereens my argument by die vorige item. Wat is die voorwaardes? As ons praat van 3 jaar, dan is dit, kyk, hierdie mense wil byvoorbeeld mos in 'n container, wil hulle mos nou voortgaan met hulle kos maak vir die gemeenskap en sovoorts, né? Nou gaan ons sê 9 jaar en 11 maande. Wat gaan gebeur as dit nou nie meer die concerned mothers bestaan byvoorbeeld nie meer nie? Die eer word nie meer gebruik vir die voorsiening en die voorbereiding van voedsel vir die gemeenskap en sovoorts nie. Wat gebeur dan met die grond? So die voorwaardes wat moet gestel word is vir my baie belangrik. En 9 jaar en 11 maande is vir my 'n bietjie baie. Dit is nou net om die MFMA voorwaardes vry te spring van die gewone termyn, van die gewone prosesse wat moet gevolg word volgens die MFMA. Ons weet mos nou as dit 10 jaar meer as 10 jaar is, dan is daar 'n ander proses. Nou wil ons dit vryspring. 3 jaar is vir my aanvaarbaar. Dankie, Speaker.
Goed, raadslid Martinez, ek dink daar is 'n terugvalklousule indien dit nie gebruik word vir die doel waarvoor dit aangedoen word nie, dat dit terugval na die raad toe. In die raadsaal is dit raadslid Jantjies.
Dankie, Speaker. Ja, Speaker, ek wil ook saamstem dat ons hierdie kontrak vasstel op 3 jaar. Ons kan die rustig het verleng na 3 jaar. Maar ek stem saam dat die weet nie wat kan gebeur. Ons weet ons voedendeels waarom die concern mothers se fondse belang. En ons weet nie eers of daar nog fondse gaan wees oor 'n jaar of 2. Ons hoop natuurlijk dat is die goed wat er met bezig is, kan nog aangaan met proberen behoeftige gevallen, ons moet gaan naar fouten wees. Maar ik wil voorstellen ook op samenstelling, dat ons het voor 3 jaar houden en dan kan ons het beste verlengen na 3 jaar. Dank u.
Dankie, raadslid Jantjies. Deputy, ek sien jou hand is op.
Baie dankie, Speaker. Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, I also comment and support the recommendation that was put by Councillor October. Remember, this is an NGO and they also want a stability whereby they would go, they have gone out. Remember, it can be a container. Maybe, remember, we want NGOs in areas, and funding is dependent on funders. So I think the 9-year gives them more a time frame to say to funders that this is what is happening. We've got a contract for so long. 3 years for me, it's not practical. I would want to move the recommendation that was made by Council October. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Goed, dankie raadslede. Ek het nou 2 voorstelle.
Yeah, thank you, Speaker. Maybe before we go into the 2 proposals, I would really love Marius to also, because he had engagement with the applicants and they've actually reached some kind of agreement in terms of the lease agreement. So Marius, miskien kan jy net die raad bietjie verder toelig hier rondom asseblief.
Yeah, Speaker, we have engagements with them. They was actually satisfied with the 3-year agreement, with the option to extend it with the prerogative of council. So at that stage, we negotiate with them, and yeah, but That is, they were satisfied within 3 years and then to extend it at a later stage. So we have spoke to Mama Kaosi Payena. So that is a lady who actually requested, and so she was satisfied with the 3 years. So, but yeah, 9 years with the 9 jaar met de terugvalclausule is ek net so goed. Ons sal dit in elk geval inskryf dat daar 9 jaar terugvalclausule is.
Dankie Marius. Goed, ek het nou 2 voorstelle en 2 sekondante. Ek sal nou maar op die einde van die dag sal ek nou maar moet vra dat ons moet stem oor die aangeleentheid vir 3 jaar of vir 9 maande, 9 jaar en 10 maande. Kan julle die raadslede wat die 3 jaar ondersteun vir my net aandui met julle hand? Marius, sal jy vir my net 'n bietjie kyk na die telling van dit rondom dit?
Speak.
Iemand toch iets sê?
Ja, speaker, ek wil nou nie vir die raad voorskryf wat om te doen, maar ek dink is belangrik om tog dit te adviseer. Ek dink daar is regtig 'n verskil in die 2 voorstelle nie. Die enigste ding is, indien die raad dit goedkeur vir 3 jaar, en dit gaan baie goed, dan is dit uit die aard van die saak baie maklik om dit te extend vir 9 jaar en 11 maande daarna. As ons dit nou vasmaak vir 9 jaar en 11 maande, dan is ons basies vas. So ek dink is eintlik 'n baie logiese benadering en meer verantwoordelike benadering om te sê, laat ons dit vir hulle gee vir 3 jaar soos wat hulle ooreengekom het om dit te gebruik. En dan sodra ons goed gaan, ons sal hulle die aard van die saak ondersteun en dit gaan goed by all means. Dan sal dit vir die raad absoluut voordelig wees om dit vir 10 jaar aan hulle toe te ken. Ek dink dis net 'n baie meer verantwoordelike benadering om te volg.
Baie dankie MM. Goed, Raadslid Martinez, jou hand is op.
Speaker, ja, baie dankie MM vir die advies wat jy nou hier bring. Ek weet nie hoekom is raadslede altyd net verskil met mekaar omdat hulle wil verskil nie. Dit is presies soos u gesê het, dit is dieselfde, die mense kan na 3 jaar weer verleng, dit is wat die kontrak gaan sê. As hulle goed doen, en hulle doen dit waarvoor hulle gevra het. So waarom sal raadslede wil push vir 9 jaar, terwyl die mense wat die plek wil hê, tevrede is met die 3 jaar opsie om te verleng. Baie dankie vir die advies, dat ons besluite neem wat gebaseer is op sound knowledge, en nie omdat ons net wil verskil van mekaar nie. En nou gaan ons hier verskil net omdat ek my mening gelig het. Dankie speaker.
Dankie Raadsdame Martinez. Raadsdame Martinez, ek dink toe ek hierdie item gelees het, was daar nie 'n sprake gewees van dat hulle het gevra vir 3 jaar nie. Dit is wat my, as hulle gevra het vir 3 jaar, dink ek dan sou dit meer raadslede saam met dit gestem het vir die 3 jaar. So ek wil nou nie 'n bekleierery opsit nie. My persoonlike Councillor Tunisi, this is your last chance on this subject. Okay. Enige iemand anderste wat nog enige kommentaar wil lewer rondom dit?
Speaker, kan ek net vra rondom die aangeleentheid dan? Because are you saying that we are going to vote, or we are going to say what, or what is the setup now?
Okay, what I'm saying now is I have two proposals. I've listened to everybody's proposal, and I've listened to what the MM has also said about this. And to me personally, you know, if I had to make the decision on my own, I would go for the 3 years with the extension for a longer period after the 3 years has lapsed. But it's up to the council to decide. If anybody wants to withdraw his proposal, be free to do so.
Gebruik maar julle majority.
Raadslid Marjorie, Oktober.
Ja, dankie speaker. Is presies soos u gesê het, was ons bewus daarvan dat daar was met hulle gesels en dit gaan oor die 3 jaar en ek kan sien waar naartoe dit gaan lei. Dis reg, dit is dit om vir hulle daardie periode te gee en dan ook vir hulle en as dit natuurlik vir hulle voel hulle het nou al klaar ingestem en weer eens hulle huurkontrakte hernie vir nog 'n periode moontlik dan vir die 9 jaar en 11 maande. Ek dink MM het dit nou duidelik gestel, meneer Moelig het ook dit gesê. So en so spreker ook nog pas genoem het, hulle gaan in elk geval dit kry, al is dit vir die 3 jaar. En dan ook natuurlik te kyk vir 'n langer tydperk en dan ook 'n terugvalklousule daar dan te hê. Ja, spreker, dan sal ek sê ons kan gaan vir die 3 jaar. Ek sal dit terugneem, juis omdat ek nie bewus was, soos MM dit gesê het en meneer Moelig dit genoem het, daar was met hulle onderhandel nie. Baie dankie.
Goed, dankie Raadslid Oktober. So ander woorde wat ons nou sê, die periode is 3 jaar met 'n terugvalklousule met 'n opsie om dit te verleng. Eenvormig so, baie dankie. Dankie raadslede. MM?
Thank you very much, councillors. Thank you very much, Speaker. 11.3 is the quarterly performance report, and that is for the period 1st of April until the 30th of June 2021. And you will see the purpose of the report is to present the performance report of the municipality for the 4th quarter. Hierdie is maar basies net die implementering van die SD-BIP van die munisipaliteit, wat gewoonlik aan die burgemeester voorgelê word, en dan word dit natuurlik ook aan die raad voorgelê word deur die burgemeester. The management recommendation, it's on page 10 of the agenda, and that is that the quarterly performance report for the quarter 1st of April 2021 to 30th of June 2021 be noted by council, and that this report will also be read in conjunction with the quarterly budget report, which is also submitted to council in terms of section 52 of the MFMA. And that is very important that it be noted that the actuals that are contained in this report are provisional. It haven't been audited yet and may change pending the finalization of the annual financial statements, which will obviously be presented to council in August 2021. Revisions arising from this will be contained in the final performance report of the year, which will be available, as I've indicated, the end of August. So this is for councillors noting at this point in time. I'm not sure, Tracy, if you want to add anything to the information.
Thank you, MM. No, I don't think I have anything to add. I think you have covered everything. Most importantly, that all figures relating to anything financial related are provisional at this stage. Thank you.
Dankie, MM Tracy. Zoon, ek sien jou hand is op.
Dankie meneer die spreker vir die geleentheid. Ek sou die burgemeester gewees het, sou ek hom persoonlik versoek het, maar ek sou graag wil hê dat ek neem wel kennis van die verslag. Ek wil graag dat dit genotuleer moet word dat dit my aanbeveling sou wees dat die burgemeester dringend 'n werkswinkel moet belê, dat ons hierdie KPI's moet hersien. Ek het 'n impact verslag by die vorige jaar einde deurgegee, dat in 2019 het ons 47 KPI's gehad. Ons het dit verminder op daai stadium na 33 toe, en van die 33 het ons reeds net 70% bereik. So op die oorspronklike 47 sou ons dan seker basies onder 50% gewees het. So ek het 'n wesenlike probleem met ons KPI struktuur op die oomblik, en ek sou graag dringend versoek dat die meerderheid van die raad en die IBK dit dringend oorweeg dat ons dit met werkswinkel en sien hulle dat hierdie net voorlopig is, dat ons dit doen voordat ons dan 'n finale een moet voorlê. Dankie.
Dankie Raadslid Jacobs. Raadsdame Martinez.
Speaker, baie dankie. Ek sou eintlik graag wou gehad het, ek sien hierdie quarterly performance report voor my, en ek sien al die rooi merke, en ek sien die groen merke, en die geel merke, en so voort. Ek sou eintlik wou gehad het, dat die direkteure verantwoordelik vir die rooi, dat hulle, behalwe dit wat hier geskrewe staan, 'n bietjie vir die raad met meer toelig rondom hoekom hierdie KPI's nie gebruik was binne die gegee tydperk.
Goed, dankie Raadslame Martinez. Deputy, your hand is up.
Yes, Speaker, I think I note what Councillor Jacobs is saying with regards to the KPIs. I think it's very important that we look into the KPIs and that a workshop, I think it's a fair request that we need to consider. And also, I think, Councillor Martinez, the issue of the directors, why is the rates and the explanations. I think what we can maybe then do in the portfolio committee meetings, if it's permitted, that we those explanations, then they are done at the portfolio committee meeting so that you can ask the relevant information. I think that is the one we can do it that way, because in the performance also, that is what we ask directors. Why do you have reds? There is an explanation for all of them. Why is the reds? Why is the greens? Why is the blues? So I think it's a fair request if we can do it at the portfolio committee meeting where councillors ask, or maybe why can't the MPEC request council to that the directors explain. I know in all the directorates there are concrete evidence for the reasons why there are so few reds, especially the reds, because that is where we focus on why is the red and how are we going to make sure that we don't have any reds. But if it's out of anyone's control, then, but so far, Councillor Martinez, I want to assure you, some of those reds are already looked at, and there are remedial actions in terms of how to achieve them in the next performance. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy. Ek dink ons sal 'n werkswinkel reël. Dan sal die antwoorde ook uitkom rondom die rooi wat nou nie meer rooi is nie, kan op daai werkswinkel bespreek word en gehanteer word. Marius, ons het 'n hele klompie werkswinkels wat ons gesê het wat ons in Augustus maand wil hou of probeer hou. Onder andere ook terreinbesoeke. So daar's 'n hele klompie werk wat gaan plaasvind of moet plaasvind, behalwe die raadsvergaderings, waarin ek al die raadslede versoek om deel te neem daaraan. So ons sal hierdie ding na opsit, Marius, dat ons dit kan opsit om dit te kan werkswinkel.
Dus Speaker, ek het reeds 'n skedule met al die ander goed, so kan hierdie een net daarby skryf.
Baie dankie. Dankie, Marius. Goed, Amen.
Thank you, Speaker. Item 11.4, page 10 of the agenda, has to do with an appeal informal settlement upgrading project. There was already a presentation done by PEP. I think people will remember PEP for the upgrading process that they embarked on in Zwelica and Oakkamp in the previous financial year through funding from provincial government. But PEP has also made money available to the tune of 100,000 Rand to embark on similar upgrading process of the Napier informal settlement. Now, they've done the presentation at the Management Services Committee, I think last month, and this report has also served at the MACO meeting that has been held in June. At the MACO meeting, there was a couple of questions asked specifically by the mayor in where does the money come from, if it's PEP's own money, is it money that comes from provincial government, what happened to the closeout reports of the previous process that they've been engaging in. So all those aspects have been covered in this item. So all that we want from council is to consider the management recommendation that PEP embark on this process. It's for council to take note of the upgrading planning process for the Napier informal settlement, and that councillors from Napier also form part of the project steering committee, that regular monthly feedback be given to the management service portfolio on the progress made in terms of this project, and that council also, because the PEP will manage their own funds according to their own financial policies, that is made just to expedite expenditure in terms of the project itself. And that also they won't be able to do it without the assistance from municipality, and that is why that Cape Agulhas Municipality be committed to assist where possible in order to maximize the value and the contribution of the funds made available by PEP. And then obviously that council authorized the municipal manager to sign a memorandum of understanding between PEP and Cape Agulhas Municipality for embarking on this informal settlement upgrading project in a peer informal settlement. Not sure if there's any further questions regarding this, Speaker.
Goed, dankie MM. Is dit duidelik vir die raadslede? Is daar enige vrae? Ek sien in die raadsaal, raadslid Jantjies.
Dankie, Speaker. Speaker, ja, ek wil ook dankie sê vir die fondse wat hulle gaan beskikbaar stel om die informele nedersetting op te gradeer. Maar ek hoop nou net regter waar hulle gaan nie dieselfde doen wat die raad verlede jaar gedoen het. Hy sê oor die 600.000 rand wat hulle daai ambisie om geen mense gebruik wat 'n kilometer weg staan van die mense af. So ek hoop regter waar dat want ek sien die selfe raadslede wat die besluit geneem het, die een van die raadslede, hulle gaan op die steringkomitee dien, dat hulle weer so besluit geneem om die goed 10 kilometer van die mense af te doen nie. Want ek dink daai geld is absoluut geboks geweest vir daai ambisie gereed wat hulle daar gebou het daar die kamp. So baie dankie.
Dankie vir die inset Jantjies. Goed, kan ek dan 'n aanbeveling kry vir die bestuursaanbeveling?
Speaker. My hand is op.
Ja, raadslid.
Speaker, ek wil net Pep sê baie dankie. Pep het met my in raadslid Karen Donald gesit en dis 'n projek wat hulle saam met die gemeenskap doen. So die gemeenskap binne in die informele nedersetting is betrokke en daar's 'n komitee gestig. So hulle werk saam met die komitee en hulle hou vergaderings het hulle gehad met ek en raadslid Karen Donald. So ons is bewus wat aangaan en die besluite gaan kom met die mense binne in die informele nedersetting. Hulle is die mense wat sit en die beplannings doen saam met PEP. So dit gaan nie van 'n raadslid afkom of wat nie. Dit gaan kom van die gemeenskap binne in die informele nedersetting. Baie dankie.
Goed, dankie raadslid Souls. Marius, ek sien jou hand is op.
I want to do second Raadslid Souls.
Okay, thank you Councillor Donald. Goed, dan 'n voorstel deur raadslid Souls en 'n sekondant deur raadslid Donald. Goed, dankie MM.
Thank you very much, Speaker. 11.5 of the agenda is the supply chain management deviations report for the fourth quarter, 1st of April until 30th of June 2021. And this is put before council for noting, unless there's specific matters that council want to raise out of this report. I must be also just make this note to council that it's really commending to the CFO that the deviations the previous financial year stood in the tune of 3.3 million in the 2019-20 financial year, and it's significantly reduced to 700,000 for the 2020-2021 financial year. And I can tell you that we're keeping, specifically in the different directorates, keeping a very firm hand to make sure that deviations are not being approved unless it is absolutely necessary in terms of the MFMA. So this is for noting to council.
Dankie MM. Councillor Tunisi, your hand is
Thank
up.
you, Speaker. We note the report and we would like to applaud each and every person in the municipality of Cape Agulhas and the leadership that is led by the MM and the CFO and directors to ensure that we minimize as he said, as far as possible, the deviations. Because if you read the report, it says deviations from minor breaches. So we're looking forward where we would have not at all, but if we're living in a perfect world, we would not have deviations, but we have unforeseen. But thank you very much. We note, we move. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy. Okay,
Yes, thank you very much, Speaker. 11.6 is the annual supply chain management implementation and oversight report for the year ended the 30th of June 2021. So that is for the previous financial year. The purpose of the report is that the accounting officer must obviously within 30 days, the end of the financial year, submit a report on the implementation of the SEM policy to the mayor. The purpose is to report to the mayor in terms of section 6.2 of the supply chain management regulations on the implementation of the SEM policy for the financial year in order to strengthen council oversight roles. The background is also stipulated there. The report is incorporated in the agenda from page 84 to 113. And the management recommendation is that council take note of the annual supply chain management implementation and oversight report for the year ending 30th of June 2021.
Dankie dis vir kennisname. Goed.
Speaker.
Yes, Deputy.
Thank you very much. We note this report also, and we also want it to be noted that the oversight of councillors in terms of the procurement plan, that's very, very important. And I want to ask councillors, please, and officials that please, the procurement plan is one document that we really need to follow as far as possible, so that we make sure that our supply chain processes are done properly and in advance to ensure that service delivery is going to our people. So I ask that the oversight, especially from councillors, we ons moet dit opkikker die jaar, and in the portfolio committee meeting, we will really have to do our mark as councillors in terms of the procurement plan, because we don't want we don't want an issue where when it comes to Q3 or Q4, people want to start processes that they should have started like already long time ago. We note, thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy. Drasalma Martinez.
Speaker, dankie. I also want to note the report, and I've just have a few comments to make and questions to ask. Number one, in certain areas we say it's a non-compliant contributor. One, I want the or the Sean to explain what is a non-compliant contributor, and then I also want to express my disagreement or disappointment in the amount of contracts, the money that is going to contractors which are on level 1 versus the amount of money to contractors who are on level 4. So can I just have clarity on what is a non-compliant contributor?
Good, dankie.
Okay. Thank you, Speaker. I will just give over to either Sean or Roberto. Safor is also in the meeting, the supply chain manager, so he will be able to clarify that to older lady Martinez.
Dankie, Goed, wie van julle twee gaan praat?
Good morning, everyone. The non-compliant contributor is where a supplier is not being accredited or he did not claim his BEE points. So then he receives 0 points for BEE.
But you can...
What's up, skis?
Follow up, Speaker, through you.
Yes.
So it means, according to our policy, you can still award the tender or the contract to such a contributor. who is non-compliant.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe it's important to explain the whole 80-20 because they get points for functionality if they are a BEE contributor, but they lose points if they are a non-contributor. But on the pricing side, they can still, what do you call it, outbid any other bidder in a contract. Am I right, Roberto?
That's correct, MM. In the case of the 80-20, the 80 points is for price and the 20 is for BEE. So there's a formula that is used for the 80 points. The lowest points will always get the highest. The lowest price will always score the highest. Say 80. So then if one is 100,000 and one is 114,000, the one that's have 100, they bidded 100,000 will score 80 points, and the one of 114,000 he will score lower than the 80 points. So then you need to add the BE points to get to the total of 100. So if the lowest one is a non-compliant contributor, and maybe the second highest bidder is a level 1, then that will be compared into or calculated, and the one scoring the highest points will get the tender then. So in most cases where it's a the bid is awarded to a non-compliant contributor, then the price is lower than the 20 points difference for BEE.
Goed, is daar nog vrae? Raadslid Jacobs, sien jou hand is op.
Spreker, baie dankie. Ek het eerste vraag en dan wil ek dit opvolg met iets anderster. Op bladsy 88, die derde lyntjie. Finance and ICT Services, raising of external loans, die 10 miljoen rand wat aan Standard Bank betaal is. Ek wil net graag presies weet vir wat is dit. Is dit 'n lening of is dit 'n konsultasiefooi vir die raising of external loans?
Okay, Sean, you can.
Good morning, MM and the councillors. Thank you. That is for raising of external loans. That's for the external loans in terms of our capital. That's actually money that we receive based on our capital budget that was approved. We eventually raised the loans here closer to the end of June. That's when the loans was allocated to the municipality for the 2020-2021 financial year's capital budget projects. I'm not sure whether that answered the question.
Ek verstaan nog steeds nie, Speaker. Kan hy vir my moontlik verduidelik hoekom betaal ons aan Standard Bank 10 miljoen rand? Is dit rente? Is dit 'n konsultasiefooi? Wat presies is die 10 miljoen?
Die 10 miljoen is die totaal wat ons gaan leen eventually. En dan die bedrag wat daar extra bygesit is die rente gedeelte. So wanneer ons dan when a BAC award a contract, they need to award the total project, which is the loan amount plus the principal, plus the interest. So that's how the tender gets submitted to the BAC. That's how we evaluate the different tenders. So we will say that Standard Bank was 10.1, 10 million plus interest, and Absa might be 10.2, 10 million plus 200 interest. So that's the basis where we award it on.
Okay, ek verstaan, baie dankie. Speaker, dan die twee goed wat ek opvolgend sê daarna is dat op bladsy 97 die Bid Adjudication Committee en tesame met die gedelegeerde magte van bladsy 97 af aan, is die twee goed wat na 4,5 jaar vir my op die raad regtig baie moeilik is. Ons praat hier van 85 miljoen rand per jaar wat toegeken word aan maatskappye en kontrakteurs vir dienste. En tussen die Bid Adjudication Committee en die gedelegeerde magte wat basies aan die CFO is, 99% daarvan, voel ek as raadslid uiters ongemaklik om bloot 'n verslag soos hierdie te kry vir kennisname. Want op hierdie stadium kan ek niks doen aan hierdie bedrae wat uitgegee word nie. Ons veg in die raad vir inkomste, ons veg vir produktiwiteit, ons veg vir uitgawes, maar in die geval van hiervan is ek as raadslid totaal en al buite die proses gelaat as gevolg van die gedelegeerde magte. Dit sal weer eens my versoek wees dat ons as raad en my versoek aan die burgemeester is dat ons moet kyk na die gedelegeerde magte. Want ek sou graag as raadslid, as ek werklik my rol moet vervul in 'n oorsigrol, dat ek meer insaam moet hê voordat hierdie bedrag wel aangewend word. Ek weet ek mag nie op Bid Adjudication Committee sit en dit toedien nie, maar ek sou graag wil deel wees van die proses om te besluit wie het die magte om dit te kan doen en hoe dit gerapporteer word en wanneer ons mag dalk vroeër insette kan lewer as om net bloot eenvoudig dit as 'n oorsigverslag te kry vir kennisname.
Goed, dankie.
Somlomo.
Councillor Tunisi?
Speaker. Somlomo obekekileyo. Speaker, Speaker, I am a bit disturbed that what is said about certain things that are just seen in a council and all of that. I would ask councillors to attend portfolio committee meetings because that's where these discussions must take place. I would ask councillors. No, guys. Speaker, protect me. I ask that we attend portfolio committee meetings and in the portfolio committee meetings, we give our inputs. It's unfair that we say things in council, but in the portfolio committee meeting, Speaker, we keep quiet, we don't comment, we don't give our robust information. So I ask each and every one of us to attend fully with your mind and your heart and everything, attend portfolio committee meeting. That is where these reports, they start there. They don't start in a council meeting. So I challenge each and every councillor that is sitting here today to attend wholeheartedly the portfolio committee meetings so that we can discuss these matters there. And in council, we can just come and we don't have to deliberate here. There is a platform for that. So I ask that, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy. Drasama Martinez, jou hand is op.
Speaker, baie dankie. Weer eens vir die geleentheid. Speaker, ek wil net verskil met die deputy wat sê dat ons moet die portfolio meetings bywoon en ons moet dit daar uit discuss. Ek wil net herinner daaraan dat 'n council meeting en veral wat ons nou doen, dit is virtual meetings. Daar's gemeenskappe wat vir die raadslede vra. En daar's gemeenskappe wat wag vir antwoorde. Die gemeenskappe is nie noodwendig in ons portfolio meetings nie. Waarvoor is die deputy altyd so bang dat hierdie tipe vrae moet gevra word in 'n raadsvergadering waar die mense moet antwoorde gee? Laat die gemeenskap hoor wat gaan aan, want dit is die vrae wat die gemeenskappe vra. This is not a housing debate.
I'm not afraid.
Goed, ek dink ons het nou genoeg gespreek rondom die aangeleentheid. Die versoek is dat van Raadslid Jacobs was gewees dat daar meer klarigheid kom rondom die goed wat in die geslaag is. Ek sal toesien dat dit gebeur van my kant af in samewerking met die MM. Baie dankie.
Thank you very much.
Speaker, net nog 'n kommentaar op hierdie aangeleentheid. Soos wat Roberto dink ek verduidelik het van die non-compliant contributor, hè. Hulle het mos nou die laagste, het hulle mos nou getender. Ek hoop net die daai non-compliant contributors gaan later weer na die raad toe kom en vra vir nog geld, want hulle het nou te min getender nie. So dit is net 'n kommentaar wat ek nog wil sê op hierdie punt. Dankie Speaker, nou kan ons maar aangaan.
Goed, baie dankie raadsdame.
Thank you very much, Speaker. 11.7 is NERSA se goedkeuring van die elektrisiteitstariewe. Now, you would remember that with the approval of the budget, we've already made provision for the proposed tariffs at the time of NERSA to the tune of 14.59%. I think that was one of the factors that really increased the tariffs that had to be approved with the council in June 2021. Or the end of May, sorry. So they have now confirmed that with their writings that they are sticking to the 14.59%, and that is why the recommendation is, I think people will know there's very little that municipalities can do in terms of the NERSA. They decide on what the tariffs would be, and the increase in terms of the tariffs would be, and municipalities mostly just implement that. So the management recommendation is on page 13, en dit is dat die raad die goedgekeurde elektrisiteitstariewe van NERSA aanvaar vir implementering vanaf die 1 Julie. Ek kan nou al sê dis al reeds geïmplementeer, en dat die raad verder goedkeuring verleen dat die bylaag A1 elektrisiteitsdienste gewysig en in lyn gebring word met die tariewe soos goedgekeur deur NERSA. Thanks, Chairperson. We just want a council resolution in terms of that.
Goed, de raadslede, kan ek dan 'n voorstel kry vir die aanvaarding van die bestuursaanbeveling? Councillor Tunisi, 'n sekondant.
Yes, so Speaker.
Raadslid Oktober. Baie dankie raadslede.
Thank you very much, Speaker. 11.8 has to do with the amendment of the extension of contract for municipal information systems. Now, councillors would be aware that municipalities all over the world most probably make use of systems in order to improve the efficiency of administration. A number of those has also got to do with compliance, where we are compelled by certain legislation to do things in a certain format, do things in a certain way. Not capacity doesn't exist always in terms of doing it ourselves, and that is why we make use of service providers to operate or support these systems that are being implemented in municipalities. Now, the dilemma is normally that some of these systems take a long time to procure in the first place, and then it takes some time to also implement it. Then staff needs to be trained in order to understand the system, make sure that they operate it fully. And if time flies so quickly that you see, but the time frames for those systems have also already lapsed. Now you will see that all the systems that we currently use is on page 14. That is systems like Collaborator, CAT, OVO. We use for the GIS system. We use Vesta. We use Kronos. We use IMQS. There's a number of systems that are currently being used by about 211 users within the municipality. And then you will also notice that there's a summary of what all the different systems what the purpose of all those systems are, how do they assist municipal officials to make sure that we comply and also do our work efficiently and effectively. And then there's also on page 17 is the cost implications for all the operating of all the system. And this is where the crux of this item is actually lies, because if you look at just to the investmental date for the systems, all those systems already runs in the region of 19.7 million. And then there's the annual maintenance of all the systems, and also the licensing that is coupled to all of those systems. And then there's also other hidden costs as well as to the payment of overtime and all of that in order to operate and update all these systems. So long story short, Speaker and councillors, is that most of these systems actually come to an end in June 2022. Now, what would normally happen is that you would go out on tender for this process, and then in most instances you will either get similar the same system providers that are currently in the market with specifically, and is also being recommended by Treasury and all the other government departments, or you can invoke Section 116 of the MFMA, which allows municipality to extend these contracts for at least 5 years. Now, this is, we've had a number of deliberations, take all the cost implications into consideration, all the practical arrangements that comes with the implementation of these systems. And we are actually requesting council to provide approval in terms of the management recommendation that the proposed amendment or the extension of the contract of the companies that has been listed in the item as per parts of 20.14 of the municipal or the supply chain management policy and systems in terms of Section 33 and Section 116 of the MFMA be approved at the same terms and conditions. So we actually are just asking to extend the contracts of the service provider for another 5 years.
Goed, dankie Raadslid Tunisia, ek sien jou hand is op.
Yes, Speaker. I would like to ask that we approve the management recommendation, and also ask that the companies also be advertised for public knowledge also. Thank you.
Dankie, Raadslid Darsama Martinez.
Speaker?
Ja.
Ignite. In die verlede kon ek op Ignite ingegaan het, dan kon ek klagtes deurgegee het en ek kon gemonitor het hoe word die klagtes opgelos, of het afgehandel is en wat is die progress daarop. Maar ek kan nergens as 'n raadslid dit mee doen nie. Nou moet ek 'n e-mail stuur vir Tracy of 'n Paul en hulle rapporteer dit na die verskillende departemente toe, en dan soms word daar vir my gesê die klag is afgehandel en dan klaar die mense nog steeds oor dieselfde probleme. Ek het 'n probleem met die feit dat die raadslede nie meer hierdie monitering en evaluering van dienslewering kan doen nie. So hoe dit gaan gebeur weet ek nie, maar ek het regtig 'n ernstige issue dat dit weggevat is van Ignite. Ek weet nie hoe dit gaan opgelos word nie.
Dankie, Raadslid Martinez. Ek neem kennis daarvan.
Definitely take it up with the service provider to allow for that.
Ja. Raadslid Jacobs.
Speaker, baie dankie. Die top 3 kontrakteurs, Collaborator, Vesta en IoT, dis amper R10 miljoen. My spesifieke probleem het ek met Vesta. Toe ons 5 jaar terug as 'n raad besluit het om te skuif na Vesta toe, is aan ons voorgehoue baie doeltreffende, koste-effektiewe maatskappy wat vir ons hierdie diens kan lewer. Oor die laaste 4,5 jaar het ons nou gesien hoe ons finansies en IT departement se mense se karre daar staan oor naweke en baie laat in die aande wat hulle oor tyd kry. So onder die bladsy reflekteer ons dit wel onder aan bladsy 17 that employee-related cost in terms of overtime and implementation has not been taken in account. Ek kan nie as raadslid 'n ingeligte besluit en aanbeveling neem as ek nie die totale koste weet nie, want spesifiek met verwysing tot Vesta, weet ons dat ons het geweldige probleme met Vesta. Die enigste rede hoekom hy amper werk en funksioneel is omdat ons personeel hierdie diens moet supplement met ongelooflike baie ure en kennis, en dit is ek dink ons het genoeg tyd na volgende jaar voordat hierdie kontrakte verval om werklik insiggewende besluite hier rondom te neem. Want dit is natuurlik nou maklik om net vandag 'n knoppie te druk en te sê ons keer R20 miljoen se kontrakte net goed vir die volgende 5 jaar. Maar ons sal faal in ons rol as raadslede om 'n werklike insiggewende rol te speel van hoe ons mense se geld spandeer word op dienste wat nie effektiewer gelewer word nie. Dankie, Speaker.
Dankie, Raadslid Jacobs. Tracy? I see your hand is up.
Yes, Speaker. Sorry, I just wanted to comment on Elder Lady Martinez's comment that she made just now. Yeah, what actually happened is we cancelled the complaints module within Ignite and we transferred it to Collaborator. And part of the reason for that was so that we could have integration with the app that's going to be released very soon. But I understand what you're saying, Councillor, that you know, as councillors, you also do need to be able to monitor and follow up on complaints. So if you just give us an opportunity, we'll see how best we can also assist councillors to be able to do what they need to do. Thanks.
Thank you, Tracy. I must say that the complaints that I have asked has been logged, and I got an SMS every time when it's logged. And so there is feedback, but it is difficult. You have to ask somebody else to go and check what is the status of it. So it would be appreciated if you could do something about that.
Yeah, we need to make it easier for you.
Yeah.
I understand that, yes.
For some of us especially, you know. Okay, goed, Raadslid Jacobs se vraag rondom die oortyd en die tyd wat ons spandeer, ons sal moet kyk daarna en kyk hoe ons dit kan ordentlik kan beheer rondom dit en kyk wat gebeur rondom dit. Goed, enige Raadsdame Martinez?
Speaker, dankie. Dit wat raadslid ook Jacobs nou genoem het, is baie ernstig. En dit het baie implikasies, koste implikasies vir hierdie raad. Ons moet gaan kyk en evalueer voor ons vir Westa gaan sy kontrak verleng. Sal ons moet gaan kyk en evalueer wat is die doeltreffendheid van Westa. Ons sal moet gaan benchmarking doen by ander munisipaliteite. Ek weet daar is groot munisipaliteite wat hierdie stelsel heeltemal afgeskaf het, omdat dit werk nie. Hulle sukkel daarmee en dit het baie kostes vir die raad bring dit weer met oortyd en sovoorts. So ja, voordat ons vir Westa weer aanvaar en sy kontrak verleng, kan ons 'n verslag kry oor die doeltreffendheid daarvan en ook die benchmarking met ander munisipaliteite. En watter stelsels is dit wat ander munisipaliteite gebruik? Want ek glo die stelsel wat ons voorheen gebruik het baie beter gewerk as wat ons nou met hierdie Westa stelsel werk. Dankie, Speaker.
Dankie, Raadsdame Martinez. Raadslid Tunisi, Councillor Tunisi.
Thank you, Speaker. I note the concerns with regards to the suppliers that are put here. I think what we should note, Councillor Jacobs has said it, that from now until next year, we've got an opportunity to look and zoom into each and every one of them. But for now, I think what we then need to do then, from now onwards, in all of our meetings, we really need to zoom into each and every one. And also what I would want to ask is that doing that, it gives and the comments that councillors are giving today, that also should be part and parcel of what we are zooming into and what is our expectations as councillors. So I would want to ask that, yes, we note, we approve, but in our portfolios, in the different portfolios, I would also always mention portfolios, because that's where these discussions need to take place. In the different portfolio or in the finance and IT, because this is a finance and IT, we really need to zoom into it. Therefore, I would ask that between the members or between all the councillors in that IT and finance, we sit and we have a workshop and we get each and every company to come and explain to us the processes, so that when 2022 comes, we are able to make a decision that all of us have taken going forward. Can I then ask that yes, as much as we're going to say yes, but we still need to zoom into all of the concerns that councillors have. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy. Net daar in die raadsaal, ek neem aan as raadslid Jantjies.
Ja, dankie, voorzitter. Ja, voorzitter, ek het nie 'n probleem dat ons eers ons huiswerk gaan doen vir die nuwe kontrak begin nie, maar ons weet natuurlik almal Westa was baie duur aan die begin, toe ons oorgeskakel het van die ou stelsel na Westa toe. En ons weet ook die probleme wat ons met die stelsel gehad het, hoe lang het gevat het, toe het regtig aan werking gekom het. So ons moet net baie pas op, dat ons genoeg tyd het, as ons ten einde te later gaan besluit om oor te skakel na 'n nuwe maatskappy toe. So ons moet maar net doodseker maak daarvan, dat ons nie wag tot op die tippie toe, en ons sit met probleme wat vir ons baie meer kos het. Dit is maar net my bekommernis, baie dankie.
Dankie Raadslid Jantjies. Raadslid Jacobs, jou tweede kans.
Speaker, so ek was nie nou seker nie, word hierdie nou goedgekeur vandag of gaan ons nou wag vir meer inligting? Ek wil net eers 'n vraag kry.
Goed, ek het 'n voorstel gekry dat ons die aanvaar, die management recommendation, maar dit is ook vir bespreking.
Speaker, dan wil ek regtig graag vra dat ek vir die res van die raadslede vra dat hierdie punt uitgestel moet word onderhewig aan meer inligting. Want weer eens hierdie proses wat ons nou van praat, die 4,5 jaar wat ek op die Finansies en IT komitee gesit het, het ons nie werklike beheer om hierdie produktiwiteit uit hierdie kontrakte uit beter te kry nie. Ons het een keer die geleentheid om die regte persoon aan te stel. Weereens het ons daai magte ook gedelegeer soos wat ek uitgelig het in die vorige punte en het ons as raadslid nie eintlik die magte om te besluit watse kontrakteur die beste diens vir ons sal lewer nie. Maar op hierdie stadium het ons die geleentheid om te sê of ons net eenvoudig R20 miljoen blindelings gaan spandeer aan huidige kontrakteurs wat ons voor ons heilige siel weet nie effektief was nie en of ons dit eers gaan blokker vir die administrasie sê gaan terug en kom terug met waarborge voordat ons hierdie net eenvoudig goedkeur.
Goed, dankie Raadslid Jacobs. Abdul, I see your hand is up.
Speaker, thank you, Speaker. I just wanted to make mention that we are out of term for IMQS. Besides, I counted there is 11 systems, Speaker. I think if the big issue is Vesta and the related software with Vesta, which is more than half of the annual licensing fees and also the annual maintenance fees, that the rest of the systems that are at a very low cost that is expiring be approved for extension. And then if Vesta is the only one that the councillors are concerned about really at this point in time, then that be taken off from the list. That's just, we are running out of time for IMQS. We're out of contract for IMQS. And if they pull the plug, then we won't be able to have master planning software which is critically needed for service delivery, Speaker.
Yeah, thank you, Aziz. Any comments on that?
Yeah, Speaker, maybe it's important that maybe Willem van Zyl also just provide us some more input in terms of specifically the terms, which contract lapses when, so that we can make an informed decision in terms of that. Like Abdulaziz Jacobs has now already indicated that one, we might be out of contract already, or it's going to lapse soon, so that we can just make get a type of priority of which we can still reconsider and get all the necessary information, make a proper assessment of their functionality, how they operate, what can still be improved, and how they are going to ensure. And also, as the councillors has alluded to, the total cost implications, which in my opinion, to be honest, might be more in future. So Willem, if you can maybe just allude to that, please.
Thank you, sir, through the Speaker. Yeah, so the first thing we need to consider is, so the first question is on the expiring of these contracts. There's two that is always expiring, which is IMQS and the Kronos agreement. The rest are all expiring on the 30th of June 2022, which gives us, as requested, adequate time to get all those costs. Expected cost. The only other expected cost is actually very difficult to determine because we don't know what additional legislation or what legislation might change, what additional capabilities people might want in these systems that can contribute to additional cost. As we are not aware of any additional ones now, it's difficult to determine. regarding the employee-related cost that we excluded was due to the fact that that was referred there to the actual cost that was incurred during the implementation of these systems. So what we are trying to show to the council here is to say that these are the investment that we did till the cost that we incurred till date was the 19 million, and the annual maintenance and licensing maintenance is based on the 2020-21 contracts. So in essence, what it means is that till date, over the course of the systems, obviously the start dates varies from system to system. We calculated from the collaborator was actually the oldest one in 2008. So that investment cost consisted of the license fees over that term, or the implementation fees, as well as the license fees. And the annual maintenance and annual licensing, we calculated over a term of 5 years at the escalation of 4.5% as it was in this year's requested from National Treasury. So that's how we got to those estimated costs over the term of 5 years. The employee-related cost, as I said, why we excluded that is because we can determine, I suppose, going through the payday system, how much money was paid out, and how in some instances people took it time off in lieu of the time they actually worked. So we can do a calculation on the actual cost that we incurred with the implementation of these systems, specifically Vesta, which was the biggest one. But then also there was a lot of integrations that happens between these systems that we need to consider as well. So what we are saying is, if we would change these systems, we would most probably pay the 20 million anyway over the next term of 5 years. But the likelihood of paying an additional implementation fee and an additional cost related to employee costs. So we once again need to pay for, if we change the system we need to pay for overtime and those kind of things. That will be in addition to the expected current investment till date. So it will most probably cost us more to implement the new system. If it's a matter of we are not happy with the systems and we need to look at these systems again and to look at the functionality of the support of the system providers, we can do that. We do, however, on a monthly basis, do performance evaluations of so these systems has various system administrators that do performance evaluations in terms of the MFMA. So if we refer to that, we can look at the performance of these vendors or service providers. But yeah, I think we just need to clarify where we feel or where we think there might be shortcomings on these systems, and once we identify them, it should be quite easy to see why things went wrong and in which cases. Yeah, that's all.
Goed, baie dankie Willem.
Chairperson, Speaker, I actually wanted just to make a process suggestion. I can understand that councillors, there's some more information that is required, but we've also got the implication that if some of these contracts are not being extended in terms of 116, it will adversely affect the business continuity within the municipality. So maybe I can just get an agreement from specific or a direction from the directors at this point in time. Out of these 11, which of these will, if they lapse now, we will and is not extended, will have adverse implication, and then we can, because we've already identified the 3 top ones, Vesta, Collaborator, and also is it IoT, that we might have issues with, and those we can bring back to the August council meeting, which I don't think will have such a dire impact on the process that we want to follow if it's being postponed for a month. But otherwise, I just want to get an indication because we need to advise council in terms of this.
Baie dankie
This has already indicated IMQS.
Ja. Baie goeie voorstel. Kan ons dan van die direkteure terugvoer kry rondom dit? en of laat ons kan besluit watter se kontrakte ons nou gaan hernie en watter ons gaan laat oorstaan. Willem?
If I may say, I think the last three on the list is the most important ones. That will, if we don't renew them now, they will lapse, and then we will have to go out and tender, and it will have quite an impact on the organization if that happens. So those are the three critical ones. The rest all expires on the 26th. End of the financial year 2022, 30th of June. So there is some time for the install. They are actually the biggest impact.
So what you're saying is Ignite, Kronos, and IMQS?
Yes, sir. Unless I'm missing one.
Goed.
Abdullah Aziz's hand is up, Speaker.
Aziz?
I support Willem's proposal that the bottom three be approved for extension.
Okay.
I would actually call it any other directors speak now or forever hold your peace. Otherwise, the others is going to stand over until the next council meeting.
Ek gaan ook akkoord met Willem se voorstel, Speaker.
Dankie, Hendrik. Goed. Dan
Voorzitter?
Marius?
Ja,
Nee,
voorzitter.
my hand was eerst op.
Okay.
Raslama Martinez?
Speaker, ja, ek volstaan by die laaste drie dat ons voortgaan om hulle kontrakte te verleng, maar met die complaints assist by Ignite laat moet teruggebring word asseblief. Al beteken dan nou ook dat hulle kontrak moet nou uitgebrei word en dan moet meer kostes aan verbonde wees, moet dit gebeur, maar dit het geweldig vir ons raadslede gehelp. Veral vir my wat mos nou 'n tydelike raadslid is. Ek het mos 'n kantoorie dat ek elke dag kan opcheck hoe is die probleme van die mense aangespreek het. Dankie, Speaker.
Voorzitter, ik wil bijna amper dieselfde. Ik wil ook die laatste 3 punten ondersteunen, maar die rest niet langer als 2 maanden met ons niet klaar zijn. Het kan niet toelaten dat ons niet voeten plekken en dat ons naderhand, ik bedoel die woord zeggen, hij is toch, als ons die stelsel ter plekke. So niet langer als 2 maanden niet, moeten ons die andere rest klaar en goedkeren. Dank u.
Speaker, you muted.
Councillor Tunisi?
I support the recommendations from management. As it is, or I second, whatever, but I support from council side. Thank you.
Thank you. So what we say is that we approve the last 3, that they also bring back Ignite so that the councillors can go into that, and that the rest be before 2 months lapse, that we bring that back to the council with the information so we can take an informed decision. Is that the decision of the council? Can I show of hands? You agree?
Yes, Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, MM. Marius, het jy dit so?
Thank you very much, Speaker. Abdullah Aziz Jacobs.
Aziz?
Speaker, through you, if you allow me, Speaker.
Yes.
Just for the attention of the councillors, I think Tracy should have come in. Maybe Willem wants to mention it. That the administration has already evolved and moved away from Ignite to Collaborator as the complaint system. So the complaint system is Collaborator, and I think the request from councillors are that councillors gets access to the complaint system, which is currently Collaborator. And I don't think this motion is to change the complaint system from Collaborator to Ignite. So I think a little bit more than a year ago, the council has moved away from Ignite to Collaborator with the administration as a complaint system. That is the only thing I just wanted to bring to the attention of the council.
Thank you, Abdul, but that means that the councillors will be able to do on Collaborator the complaints.
Something like that. So Tracy
Okay.
and speak.
Thank you. Marius, het jy dit so?
Ek het dit so, Speaker.
Goed, baie dankie.
2 minutes.
Oh. Speaker, laat Tracy praat, want ons is nou al hoe lank op collaborate en ons kan nie ons complaints daarop doen nie.
Tracy?
No, I think Abdulaziz actually indicated, basically said what I wanted to say. But I think maybe, Councillor, if you'll just give us the opportunity that we can look at the collaborator and see how we can assist councillors first. And if there is a problem, then obviously we'll come back to it. But maybe just give us the opportunity to see how we can accommodate councillors with the collaborator system and the new app and see how that works. But yeah, I'm just asking for the opportunity to be able to do that first, please.
Thank you, Tracy. You can do so.
Thank you.
Goed, MM.
Yeah, thank you very much, Speaker. Thanks, councillors, for the decision. Okay, then it's just 12. That is the items that have been tabled to council. 12 is just dringende sake deur munisipale bestuurder. At this point in time, Speaker, I don't have any urgent matters to report to council. It is just that I also want to convey to council that you will note that normally the workplace protocols within the municipality moved as we hover between the different lockdown regulation or so the alert levels that normally is being announced by the president. Now we were on 4 and then we had the rotational basis. So the level 4 is now being relaxed to level 3. And we all understand why that has happened. But if you look at what is currently happening still in terms of the rate of infections, then within Cape Agulhas and the Overberg as well as the Western Cape, we are still seeing that increase in terms of the rate of infections. And that is why we actually amongst the management, we had an assessment yesterday, and we actually just want to keep the same rotational basis just for the next 2 weeks until we're out of this peak of the pandemic. So that is just what is so we will work exactly the same as we have been working the last month, only for the next 2 weeks, Speaker. So that's just to also that councillors are aware of the protocols that have been put in place.
Baie dankie, MM. Ek dink dit is 'n baie goeie voorstel. Goed.
There's a hand, Speaker.
Raadsamer Martinez.
Speaker, dankie. Ek ondersteun die MM se voorstel wat betref die werkerskorps. My kommentaar gaan rondom die gemeenskap. Speaker, ons het 'n ewige probleem binne die gemeenskap waar sekere gemeenskapslede is positief getoets, maar daar's geen ding van isolation nie. Hulle beweeg oop en bloot tussen die ander gemeenskapslede rond, veral as hulle simptome mos nou nie erg is nie, of as hulle asymptomies is. En die ander probleem, so my vraag wat ek wil vra is, wat doen die raad, wat doen die munisipaliteit om te verseker dat die mense wel in isolation gaan, as hulle mos nou nie kan in isolation gaan binne hulle klein RDP-huisies nie, dan word hulle mos uitgevat in die gemeenskap uit, na quarantine akkommodasieplekke toe. Nou, my vraag is, wat doen die munisipaliteit om te help waar die provinsies akkommodasieplekke klaar oorvol is? En die ander vraag wat ek wil vra is, ek weet die raad het voorsiening gemaak, want ons het van national government af geld gekry vir hierdie COVID-19 om te help, om het aan te spreek. Nou, van hierdie fondse is gespandeer en gegee vir sopkombuise, NGO's wat mos nou vir die mense kos kook en kos gee, maar dit is mense wat kan kom na hulle toe om die kos te kom haal. Maar dan het ons ook families wat in quarantine moet gaan. En baie van die families wat vir 10 dae in die huis sit, het partykeer is afhanklik van neighbors en so om vir voedsel te bring na die huis toe. My vraag is nog altyd, hoekom kan die munisipaliteit nie 'n gedeelte van ons begroting vir die doeleindes gebruik om kospakkies te koop, sodat dit spesifiek deur middel van die departement Human Development kospakkies kan gaan aflewer by daai gesinne nie. Want ek, voorsitter, soos julle weet, by ons tydelike mense is baie min, maar ek het al hoeveel kospakkies en ek kla nie daaroor nie, want dit raak my. Hoeveel kospakkies uit my eie sak het gekoop en vir mense gaan gee wat in quarantine is, of waar daar sterftes is van die broodwinner byvoorbeeld. Dit wil ek asseblief hê, moet ons kyk om aan te spreek, speaker, wat betref die pandemie nou. Dankie.
Dankie Raadsdame. Ek kan ook net so 'n bietjie terugvoer gee rondom dit. Jy weet die mense wat in kwarantyne geplaas word normaalweg deur die hospitaal verwys dat hulle in kwarantyne moet wees wanneer hulle positief getoets word. Ek sal dit bietjie opneem met Reinhard Geldenhuys hulle rondom die akkommodasie, want ek weet ons het 'n komitee gehad wat verskillende plekke uitgewys het waar die mense geakkommodeer kan word. Ek het ook uit my wyksfondse uit die vorige finansiële jaar geld gegee vir die hospitaal wat hulle kospakkies kan koop en hulle neem dit self na die mense toe wat uitgeplaas word. Maar ek sal van my kant af sal ek dit opvolg met die hospitaal. Ek sal dit opvolg met Reinhard Geldenhuys hulle met hulle COVID komitee wat hulle het. En ons sal ook 'n bietjie moet kyk na ons begroting. Hierdie ding is groter as wat ons dink dit is. So ons sal moet in ons begroting moet kyk of ons nie die mense ook kan help op 'n manier nie. Maar ek sal dit op my neem om aandag te skenk daaraan.
Voorsitter.
Grazie Jantjies.
Baie dankie vir Raadsdame Klitine se insette. Ek wil net 'n aantekening van haar miskien net ook 'n aanbeveling doen wat die raad kan doen om die gemeenskap aan buitekant te help waar daar mense in afsondering geplaas is. Kan ons raad nie ons verkeersdepartement gebruik om net uit te saai om die mense daar net bewus te maak wanneer hulle positief getoets is, dat hulle asseblief nie moet rondbeweeg in die gemeenskap, maar volgens hulle tyd bespreek en sê hulle moet binne bly. En veral ook terselfdertyd die gemeenskap net aanmoedig, nie net die volwassenes, maar ook die kinders om hulle maskers te dra. Ons het die verkeer, ons het die dienste, hulle doen minimaal daar buite, sodat hulle nie die werk in Cape Agulhas vir ons doen, om het in te print onder ons gemeenskap asseblief. Baie dankie.
Dankie Raadse Jantjies. Hendrik, jy sal 'n bietjie vir ons kyk na daai aangeleentheid.
Ja, ons sal definitief aandag daaraan skenk, want dit is vir ons ook 'n redelike groot bekommernis, speaker. Ek kyk nou net op die grafiek, 'n maand gelede was ons omtrent op 31 positiewe cases en ons staan nou op 262 in die Cape Agulhas munisipale area. So ons will have to intensify our efforts to make sure that people sanitize, social distance, and also adhere to all other COVID-19 protocols, and also see how we are going to sharpen up our communication, make people more aware. And again, as older lady Martinez has indicated, that we see how we can assist the families that has been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. So thank you very much for those inputs, councillors.
Dankie Councillor Tunisi, jou hand is op.
I think we really need to have that discussion in terms of the communication. I'm thinking of the CDWs. At some point they were doing that, but let's strengthen the communication in terms of COVID-19. And we know it is serious. It is something that we really are concerned as a council, and we want our people to be safe at all times. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Goed. Baie dankie raadslede.
Yes, thank you very much, Speaker. There is no kennisgewing van moties, no oorweging kennisgewing van vrae, dringende moties. Item 16 is the report on the outstanding council resolutions. Now, I must be honest with councillors that I actually took this upon myself. This has been my bugbear for the last week or so, because I was quite concerned that a lot of these items have been on this list for a long time. and haven't been implemented. There's a number of workshops to be held. There's a number of activities that needed to take place, and I'm engaging with all the different directors now to make sure that those that have been implemented, that it gets off the list, and those activities that need to take place, that we've got dedicated time frames, dedicated personnel that works on all those matters. So you will see a much shorter list at the next council meeting, Chairperson. I'm not sure if there's any questions regarding any of the matters on the list itself.
Goed, dankie MM. Ek sien as 'n hand op Marius daar by julle in die raadsaal.
Speaker, ja, ek gaan min of meer vir julle net so eenvoudige verslaggie stuur. Ek weet julle kan nie nou die detail daarop sien nie. Dis waar ons vergaderings, besoekpunte, workshops vir Augustus beplan. So jy sal 'n volledige skedule kry. Ek sal dit vandag nog of môreoggend vir u e-mail. Dis waar ons moet uitry na plekke toe en ook besoek op verskillende erwe. Die workshops wat geskeduleer is the review of the human settlement plan, the local integrated transport plan, the clearing of vacant urban, belastingbeleid en dan die property management in SOP workshop. So dit sal alles vir u stuur op 'n dag of môreoggend 'n volledige skedule wat ons alles in Augustus sluit daai raadsbesluite in. En dan natuurlik die nuwe een wat ons vanoggend bygekom het, the workshop of the quarterly performance report, punt 11.3. So ek sal dit vir u uitstuur vandag of môreoggend 'n volledige verslag van wat Augustus sal gebeur. So jy kan nie maar regmaak, ons hoop ons is Augustus gesond dat ons die goedjies vanaf kan ontslaan.
Goed, baie dankie Marius. Dankie daarvoor. Ek wil net van my kant af net vra asseblief raadslede, as ons daai verslag kry, maak seker dat julle die werkswinkels bywoon. Maak seker dat julle as jy punte moet gaan besoek, dat die relevante raadslede wat in daai gebied is of wat daarbey betrokke moet wees, dat julle asseblief dit doen. Ons het een moontlike spesiale raadsvergadering of is een spesiale raadsvergadering wat nie baie lank te wees in Augustus maand nie. So die res van die Augustus maand laat ons spandeer rondom die uitstaande items en die uitstaande werkswinkels wat ons wil hou. Goed, MM, enigiets van jou kant af nog?
Nee, dis al van my kant af, Speaker. Dankie.
Baie dankie raadslede, dankie vir julle tyd, julle geduld. En bly veilig asseblief. Julle weet dit gaan nie goed in ons omgewing nie. So asseblief bly veilig. Baie dankie.
Thank you very much everybody. Goeiedag councillors.
Baie dankie.
MM and Trace, can you just stay behind please?
Yeah, thanks to the people of the public that also tuned in, Speaker.
Thank you. MM, can you stay behind?